I think we can start it. Sir, I have joined already.
Yes, please. So, warm welcome and very good evening to our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Suresh Kumar Sharma, sir, Professor and Principal College of Nursing, AIIMS, Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Our esteemed guest of honor, Mrs. Jyoti Walia, ma'am, Vice President, North Zone of Trained Nurses Association of India. Respected conveners of the program, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Sharma, sir, President of TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch, Dr. Mamta, ma'am, Secretary of TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch, Dr. Harleen Kaur, ma'am, Chairperson, Research and Education Committee and Organizing Secretary, Mrs. Pushpa Rani, ma'am, Treasurer, TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch, and all State TNAI Executive Council members, esteemed faculty members, and dear participants. I am Amit Tiwari, Organizing Secretary of this FDP of this program and currently serving as head of the Department of IT and in charge of RDCL at Institute of Applied Statistics. It is with immense pleasure and pride that we gather here today for the inauguration of this one-week faculty development program on effective research paper writing and effective research paper writing and scholarly publishing. So this online FDP is jointly initiated by, as we all know, the TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch and the Institute of Applied Statistics under the esteemed Florence Nightingale Nursing R&D scheme. So to begin this auspicious occasion, I would like to invite Dr. Rajesh Kumar Sharma, sir. Dr. Rajesh Kumar Sharma, sir, President of TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch and the General Secretary and National Coordinator of the Florence Nightingale Nursing R&D Scheme. He is currently serving as Associate Professor and Head at the Department of Critical Care Nursing at the Himalayan College of Nursing, Swami Rama Himalayan University, Dehradun. He is a board member of Bhakti Vedanta Medical Association USA and the Scientific Advisor to the Society of Hospital Administrators. With an impressive academic portfolio, Sir has published more than decades of research articles in reputed national and international journals and served as the editor of the Global Nursing Journal of India and on editorial board of several international and national journals, including International Journal of Primary Healthcare, Indian Journal of Surgical Nursing, and the Integrative Journal of Global Health. He is also an article reviewer for the International Journal of Medicine and Public Health. In addition, he has successfully completed six intramural research projects and has received numerous awards and recognitions for his academic and professional contributions. So today we are truly privileged to have him with us in this role as a General Secretary and National Coordinator of the Florence Nightingale Nursing R&D Scheme, President of TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch, and the convener of this faculty development program. Now I would like to invite Dr. Rajesh Kumar Sharma, sir, to extend his warm welcome to our esteemed guests and deliver the welcome address. Welcome and over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Engineer Amit Kumarji, for your introduction and as well as taking the initiative of this program. So good evening to everyone. With immense pleasure and great respect, I extend a warm welcome to all distinguished dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, respected nursing leaders, participants, and guests who have joined us today for the inaugural ceremony of this one-week faculty development program on effective research paper writing and scholarly publishing. This program is being jointly organized by the 10 Association of India TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch in collaboration with the Institute of Applied Statistics, Kanpur, under the Florence Nightingale Nursing Research and Development Scheme. Before we begin today's program, I would like to reflect briefly on our previous successful initiatives. In January 2026, we successfully conducted a one-month marathon faculty development program on research methodology and biostatistics in nursing, in which a total 158 participants from the Pan India successfully attended and completed this program. And the overwhelming response and positive outcomes of that program encourage us to continue this academic journey. So, building upon the success, today we once again come together to mark the beginning of another important initiatives dedicated to strengthening research capacity and enhancing scholarly excellence among educators and healthcare professionals. So for that, at that outset today, I extend my heartfelt gratitude and respectful welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Suresh Kumar Sharma sir, who is the professor and principal, College of Nursing, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Jodhpur, whose remarkable contributions to the nursing education, research, and academic leadership continue to inspire the many young and budding nursing fraternities across not only nation but globally. Sir, your gracious presence today added immense value and prestige to this program. I also warmly welcome our guest of honor, Mrs. Jyoti Walia, Madam. She is the Vice President, North Zone, the Trained Nursing Association of India. Madam, your continuous support and guidance for the advancement of our nursing profession have constantly motivated us to pursue excellence with a dedication and commitment. I also extend a warm welcome to Dr. Mamta Kaparwan, our Secretary of TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch, Dr. Harleen Kaur, she is the Chairperson, Research and Education Committee and Organizing Joint Secretary, Engineer Amit Tiwari ji, who is the Organizing Secretary, and all the Executive Council members of TNI, and every member of the organizing team whose dedication and collective effort have made today's event possible. A special welcome to all the faculty members, researchers, scholars, nursing professionals, and participants who have joined us through Cisco WebEx from different regions of the India. Your enthusiastic participation reflects our shared commitment to strengthening evidence-based practice and advancing scholarly contribution in nursing and healthcare. Over the coming days, participants will have the opportunity to engage with the experts, learn practically approaches to research paper writing, understand publication standards, and enhance their scholarly capabilities for meaningful academic growth. As we formally inaugurate this faculty development program, I encourage each participant to actively engage, interact, and make the most of these valuable learning opportunities. Once again, I extend a heartfelt welcome to all our dignitaries, resource persons, participants, and members of this organizing committee. Wishing everyone a successful, enriching, and memorable programs. Thank you for joining us. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your gracious presence and your insightful words sharing with all of us. So now we are honored to have with us Dr. Harleen Kaur, ma'am, Chairperson, Research and Education Committee and Organizing Joint Secretary. She is currently serving as Professor and Head at the Nursing Foundation at the Himalayan College of Nursing, Swami Rama Himalayan University. I now respectfully invite Dr. Harleen Kaur, ma'am, to present an overview of the online FDP on effective research paper writing and scholarly publishing. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly audible. Yes.
Okay, kindly share PPT. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and good to see you, Suresh sir and Jyoti Walia ma'am, after a long time. So it is my privilege to briefly introduce Faculty Development Program on effective research paper writing and scholarly publishing. This FDP has been designed to equip nursing faculty members, researchers, and scholars with essential skills in scientific writing, scholarly publishing, and research communication. So the program covers the complete publication journey from manuscript preparation, journal selection to peer review, publication ethics, and responding to reviewers' comment. Objectives of the FDP are understand the structure of a scientific research paper, develop effective scientific writing skills, conduct literature reviews and manage references efficiently, use AI tools ethically in research and writing, select suitable journals and avoid predatory publishers, handle manuscript submission and reviewers' comment professionally. Next slide, please, sir. So this FDP has been jointly organized by the Trained Nurses Association of India, TNAI, Uttarakhand State Branch, and Institute of Applied Statistics, a statistical training and research institute, Kanpur, under Florence Nightingale Nursing Research and Development Scheme. So duration of this FDP is 1 week from 22nd June to 28 June 2026. Mode will be online and timing will be 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. daily. Next slide, please. Okay. General instruction of the FDP for the participants are an online MCQ-based quiz will be conducted for each session for self-evaluation and practice. Login time will be 10 minutes before the session. Session time with resource person will be 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Question and answer session after the session of resource person from 6:30 p.m. onwards. Feedback link will be shared after each session to collect the inputs from the participants. Total sessions of FDP will be 5. Online assessment tests will be conducted at the end of 1 week FDP program, and completion of post-test is mandatory for obtaining the e-certificates. All links will be shared in WhatsApp group. Next slide, please. So schedule of FDP sessions will be from today onwards. First session will be understanding scientific publication and research reporting will be conducted by Dr. Indranil Saha, and the second session will be on literature review, research gap, identification and manuscript planning will be conducted by Dr. Suresh Kumar Sharma, and third session writing a high quality research manuscript by Dr. Bindu Garg. Fourth session will be AI assisted scientific writing, publication ethics and journal selection by Dr. Tanveer Naved. And the fifth session will be manuscript submission, peer review, and responding to journal queries by Dr. Sukhpal Kaur. And on 28th, assessment test will be done. So next slide. Assessment test will be conducted on 28 June 2026 after all 5 FDP sessions from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. 50 MCQ based questions will that carry 1 mark for each question. Total marks will be 50 and duration will be 90 minutes. The test must be attempted within the specified date and time. Successful completion of the assessment is mandatory for obtaining the e-certificate. Next slide, please. Organizer of the FDPs are Dr. Rajesh Kumar Sharma, President TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch and General Secretary, and National Coordinator Florence Nightingale Nursing Research and Development Scheme. Dr. Mamta, Secretary TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch. Mrs. Pushpa Rani, Treasurer TNAI Uttarakhand State Branch. Dr. Shubham Pandey, National Coordinator. Dr. Padam Singh, Research and Development Scheme, Institute of Applied Statistics, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Engineer Amit Tiwari, Organizing Secretary, IT Head, and in charge, Research and Development Cell, Institute of Applied Statistics, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. All Uttarakhand State TNAI Executive Council members, Mrs. Priya JPN, Mr. Umesh Kumar Sharma, Mrs. Anita Adhikari, Dr. Mahvish Khalid, Ms. Anju Rani, and Mrs. Geeta Vishwakarma. So thank you for patience listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing detailed overview of this FTP with all of us, and I hope all participants get complete information, and they already have their schedule of the FTP in the browser. So now we are honored to have with us a guest of honor of this inaugural ceremony, and National Vice President, North Region of the Trained Nurses Association of India, Mrs. Jyoti Walia, ma'am. Ma'am is an administrative leader with decades of experience in clinical nursing education, regulatory governance, and professional advocacy. Her career spans key roles in state medical institutions, culminating in national regulatory position with the National Council and executive leadership at TNI. She is widely recognized for driving student development programs, shaping the state nursing registers, and advocating for infrastructural benefit for health workers across northern India. We are deeply honored to have her with us today in this inaugural ceremony. And please join me extending a warm and respectful welcome to our guest of honor, Mrs. Jyoti Walia, ma'am, as we commence this auspicious ceremony, enriched by her esteemed presence and invaluable insights. Welcome, and over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening to the respected dignitaries on the dais and Chief Guest Dr. Suresh Kumar Sharma ji, Professor and Principal, College of Nursing AIIMS, Jodhpur, Resource Person Dr. Indranil Saha, President and Secretary of TNAI Uttarakhand Branch, and their EC members of Uttarakhand Branch, and all present resource persons, faculty members, and researchers, scholars, and dear participants. It is indeed a privilege and honor to represent as a guest of honor at the program on effective research paper writing and scholarly publishing. I extend my sincere appreciation to the organizers for inviting me to be a part of the important academic initiative. Research is the foundation of the evidence-based practice and innovation in early profession, particularly in health sciences and nursing. Research enables us to improve patient care, develop new knowledge, and contribute to the advancement of society. However, conducting research is only, excuse me,
Yes, ma'am, audible, please.
I'm audible?
Yes, audible, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. Research is the foundation of evidence-based practice and innovation. And a well-written research paper not only reflects the quality of the research, but also ensures that the valuable findings uh, quality of research also ensure that the valuable findings research the scientific community and influence practice, policy, and future research. Therefore, developing skills in scientific writing, publication, ethics, manuscript preparation, and journal selection has become essential for every researcher and academic professionals. So, I am confident that this program will provide participants with practical knowledge and valuable insights into the art and science of research publication. I encourage all participants to actively engage in this session, learn from the experts, ask questions, and utilize this opportunity to strengthen their research and writing competencies. And I congratulate the organizers for their efforts in conducting this timely and meaningful program. I also extend my best wishes to the participants for a productive learning experience and a successful research journey ahead. Thank you, and I wish the program great success. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's has been absolute honor and privilege to have you with us today as our guest of honor, and we are deeply grateful for your valuable time, wisdom, and encouragement you have so generously shared with all of us. So, moving forward, it is a matter of immense pride and privilege to welcome our esteemed chief guest, Professor Suresh Kumar Sharma, sir, currently serving as a professor and principal, College of Nursing, Chief Nursing Officer, and Adjunct Professor of School of Public Health at AIIMS, Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Sir is one of India's most distinguished nursing academician, researchers, and healthcare leader with an illustrious professional journey spanning over 25 years. He earned his master's in medical surgical nursing from the prestigious PGIMER, Chandigarh, and subsequently joined his PhD from the Punjab University, Chandigarh, specializing in patient satisfaction with nursing care. His remarkable academic and leadership excellence has earned him his numerous national and international recognitions. He is an ICN Global Nursing Leadership Fellow of International Council of Nurses, Geneva, Switzerland, and serve as the Director of International Network of Doctoral Education in Nursing, USA. He is also a member of Education Expert Advisory Committee of the International Council of Nurses, Geneva, contributing to the advancement of nursing education and leadership at the global level. His international academic exposure includes a visiting fellowship at Duquesne University, Pittsburgh, USA, postdoctoral fellowship at University of California, USA, observership in the clinical nursing at the University of York, United Kingdom, and advanced training in hospital management and leadership at the National University Hospital, Singapore. Throughout his distinguished career, he has held several prestigious academic and administrative positions, including professor and principal and dean at AIIMS Rishikesh, before assuming his current role as AIIMS Jodhpur. He has also served as visiting adjunct faculty at leading institutions in India and has contributed as an examiner and doctoral evaluator for universities across India, Oman, Malaysia, Australia, and many more. Prolific scholar and mentor, Professor Sharma sir has authored six textbooks, edited 5 books, and published more than 200 research papers in reputed national and international journals with an impressive H index of 30. His scholarly contributions have significantly enriched the field of nursing education, critical care, nursing, uh, and diabetic care. He has delivered over 25 international and more than 250 national keynote plenary and invited lectures, inspiring thousands of students, researchers, educators, and healthcare professionals. His contribution to the nursing profession extend beyond academia. He is the founder and president of the Society of Perioperatic Nursing India and the Society for Critical Care Nursing India, and has also served on the board of the International Federation of Preoperative Nurses (IFPN). In recognition of his outstanding service to nursing education, research, and healthcare leadership, Professor Sharma sir has received several prestigious honors, including the highly coveted Florence Nightingale Award. Today, we are truly honored to have with us a visionary leader, an accomplished researcher, an inspiring educator, and globally respected ambassador of the nursing profession. On behalf of the all organizing dignitaries, faculty members, researchers, and participants, I extend a very warm and heartfelt welcome to Professor Suresh Kumar Sharma sir and express our sincere gratitude for gracing this inaugural ceremony with his esteemed presence. Welcome and over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Amitji, for your kind words. At outset, I'm honored, privileged, and delighted to be invited for this very, very important the mission which you have taken, specifically Dr. Rajesh Sharma and entire executive team of TNAI Uttarakhand and entire team of Institute of Applied Statistics. And very heartening to see my own student Puspa on the screen, Dr. Mamta and Harleen ji after a long, long time. Research is something which is very, very close to my heart. And I'm very happy to see that the TNAI, which led by me in times, and I have now very happy that I have handed over very right hands like Dr. Rajesh, who has taken this beacon and are benefiting people at large who are the part of this association. And I'm very happy to see that recently the research methodology workshop has been completed. And now we are able to see this very important topic. And my very dear colleague, Dr. Walia, have already highlighted the importance of this topic, which you are having deliberations in coming few days. If we talk about research, a lot of nurses are contributing very significantly into research, be it applied research, be it a clinical research, be it a transformational research which is happening into the field or other spheres. But there's a big question whether it is being published at the right place. I speak at many forums that a very deep hard work done by the people goes into drain of pediatric journals because people are not aware where to publish this, which is the right place to publish. And before publishing, if a hard work has been done, but how to construct a right manuscript, until unless you will spell it out, you will draft it appropriately, the journals are not going to accept it. And the journey of finding the right journal was difficult. Now it has made more easy by the journals. There are a lot of journal finders we have today. When you put your abstract title, keywords, you are able to know that what is most appropriate journal where I should publish in reference of the scope of journal and the target audience. And I'm very sure that the deliberations and teachings which are going to happen on this topic will immensely benefit all the participants. And we will be able to see research being published by the Indian nurses, which has not only the national impact, but the global impact. And I congratulate entire team of TNAI Uttarakhand and Institute of Applied Statistics for taking this initiative. And I'm very, 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 very sure that this initiative will continue and benefit many, many people across the region and across the nation. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me and giving me opportunity to interact with every one of you. Delighted. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your profoundly inspiring words and gracing this inaugural ceremony. Your vision, dedication, and lifelong commitment to advancing nursing research continue to inspire researchers and scholars across the country. So thank you so much, sir, again. We remain deeply grateful for your presence and blessings today. Thank you. So to express our gratitude, I would like to invite Dr. Mamta Ma'am, Secretary, the Trained Nurses Association of India, Uttarakhand State Branch, to deliver the vote of thanks to our esteemed guests and to conclude this inaugural ceremony. Welcome and over to you, ma'am. Please unmute, ma'am. Dr. Mamta ma'am, please unmute.
Namaskar. Respected Chief Guest Dr. Suresh Kumar Sharma sir, our guest of honor Mrs. Jyoti Walia ma'am, esteemed resource person Dr. Indranil Saha sir, distinguished dignitaries, faculty members, and dear participants, good evening. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion on the inaugural ceremony of the 1 week faculty development program on effective research, paper writing, and scholarly publishing. I express my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Suresh Kumar Sharma sir, for gracing this occasion and inspiring us with his valuable presence and words of wisdom. Thank you, sir. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our guest of honor, Mrs. Jyoti Walia ma'am, for her constant encouragement and support to the nursing fraternity. I would like to convey our to our resource person, Dr. Indranil Saha, scientist, ICMR, National Institute of Research and Bacterial Infection, Kolkata, for sharing his expertise and valuable insights on understanding scientific publication and research reporting. We are truly grateful for your enlightening session, sir. I also extend my sincere thanks to the collaborating organization, all dignitaries, faculty members, participants, and everyone who has contributed directly or indirectly to the success of this program. With gratitude and best wishes for the fruitful week ahead, I thank each one of you for your gracious presence and active participation. Thank you all. Have a pleasant evening. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for delivering vote of thanks. As we conclude this inaugural ceremony, and we are not ended yet. We have first session today, and again, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all esteemed guests and all organizing committee members. Let's conclude this inaugural ceremony with the Santi Mantra. Utkarsh, please. Utkarsh. So let's conclude with Santi Mantra. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः So thank you again, all guests. And now, as per schedule, we are moving to the first online lecture of this FDP on the topic understanding scientific publication and research reporting under the expanded guidance of Dr. Indranil Saha sir, Scientist E, ICMR, National Institute for Research in Bacterial Infections from Kolkata. We are honored to have with us Dr. Indranil Saha sir, currently serving as Scientist E as ICMR Nirbi Kolkata, a premier institute under the Indian Council of Medical Research dedicating to advancing research in infectious disease and public health. With an extensive and rich academic and research career spanning nearly 2 decades, he has made remarkable contribution to the field of community medicine, epidemiology, and public health research. Prior to his role, Dr. Saha sir has held several prestigious academic and research positions, including Scientist E at ICMR Center for Aging and Mental Health, and professor and head of the Department of Community Medicine at IIT City Medical College, Jodhpur. His research expertise is both diverse and impactful. His work spans communicable and non-communicable disease, mental health, aging, environmental exposure, and antimicrobial resistance, with a strong emphasis on implementation, research, and evidence synthesis, including systematic reviews and meta-analysis. His ongoing research projects, both as a PI or on 4 projects and a co-PI on 5 projects reflect his commitment to addressing real-world public health challenges from adolescent mental health and elderly care to vaccine trials and digital health interventions. He is an accomplished academician with an exceptional publication record around 150 in reputed national and international journals. He has also contributed significantly to academic literature as an author and editor of the key textbooks such as Essential of Biostatistics and Research Methodology and Community Medicine, Preparatory Manual for UG students. Dr. Sahasar's contribution extend beyond the research into academic leadership and scholarly publishing. He has served as the managing editor of the Indian Journal of Public Health from 2019-2021 and has been associated with multiple editorial boards. Notably, he has been recognized among the top 1% of peer reviews globally by Poplons in 2017, 18, 19, medicine and allied field, reflecting his excellence in academic peer review. Today, we are truly fortunate to have Dr. Indranil Sahasar with us to share his expertise and insights on the scheduled session. With great respect, I invite Dr. Indranil Sahasar to kindly take over the session. Welcome and over to you, sir.
So, good to all of you, and my special thanks to Florence Nightingale Nursing Research and Development Scheme Institute of Applied Statistics, Kanpur, and Mr. Amit ji and distinguished guests for giving me the opportunity to share my thought on today's topic. So, with all of your permission, may I share my screen?
Yes, please. Yes.
Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir. Perfectly visible.
Okay. And I'm also audible, na?
Yes, sir. Perfectly audible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Amit ji. Thank you, and good evening to all distinguished guests and participants. So today, my topic is on understanding scientific publications and research reporting. So, So, what is the importance of scientific publication? So, as we all know, the research is incomplete without documentation of one's research work by means of publication in a scientific peer-reviewed journal. So, so publishing allows the author to share with the world his original findings, reasoning, important breakthroughs, scientific evidences, etc. And it is not only helps to expand scientific knowledge, but is also linked with peer and institutional recognition, career upliftment, funding, and promotion. So these are the three important pillars of importance of scientific publication. So first one is dissemination of the scientific knowledge to the community, number one. Number two, for institutional growth. And number three is for the personal growth as well. And obviously is all for the scientific growth. Now the next topic is different types of scholarly publications. Most of us, we all know that most of the time we publish original article. So if you open one journal or any of the journal, you will see so many sections are there. So one of the common article type is an original article. Again, some journals, they also publish a short communication or brief research article. It is nothing but an original article, but is in a shortened form. Next, again, you will see the letter to the editor. Nowadays, some Western journals, they are now preferring more letter to the editor. They are not calling it as letter to the editor. They are calling it as research letter. It is again shortened form of short communication. So the issue is this: whenever a journal publishes some article, suppose they have the capacity of publishing 12 articles, but now instead of publishing 12 articles, if they can publish more articles, say for example 16 articles, then chance of citation of those articles will be increased. In that way, the journal citation will be increased. at the end of the day, impact factor of the journal will be increased. So some of the Western journals, good journals, they are now, instead of original article, they are now preferring short communication. Again, some of them, they are now more focusing on the research letter. That is not typically letter to the editor. In our Indian context or in Western context also, letter to the editor exists. Suppose one article has been published, I'm not happy or I have some concerns, I have some query for the article, that we can communicate to the research letter as a letter to the editor. Now, case report or case series, that you know, when we report a single case or cases less than 10, we publish it as a case report. And if there are more than 10 cases, then we call it as a case series. That is also important. Again, sometimes you will see in some of the journals, CME is there, continuing medical education. Some latest topics are written. Suppose, say, for example, the latest guideline on verbal autopsy or social autopsy, like this thing, or the issues regarding to overcome the vaccine hesitancy, like this thing. So CME is also there. Again, all of you know, review articles are there. Review articles may be of different types. It may be narrative review, it may be systematic review, it may be scoping review type of article. So many types of review articles are there. Again, some journals, they publish contemporary issues. Poetry also. Some of the journals, they also publish some poetry. I will give you an example. Apart from this, editorial, correspondence, and commentaries are also there. CME means continuing medical education. Some new thing has come, that somebody, some senior author, they are writing it to the journal. So editorial, again, I am telling you, editorial, it is basically a requested one. You cannot submit, we cannot submit one editorial for the journal. Editorial is usually an invited one. The chief editor or managing editor, he or she invites one senior person to write on an editorial issue. Again, poetry, you might be thinking how poetry can be given as a scholarly publication. Now, some of the journals, not all the journals, so International Journal of Epidemiology, it is a very reputed journal. They publishes poetry. Now, see, this is one of the poetry written, published by the International Journal of Epidemiology long back, that is 44. So they have tried to show the burden of the non-communicable diseases, like this thing. Clear? So these are some of the types of article. Now the next topic is what the characteristics of the publishable research. Whenever you want to publish one research, some of the factors that editors see. First one is the novelty of the article. Say, for example, you have submitted one article, the topic is quite known to all of us, and it has been published so many times in different formats. So in my present article, although I have changed the name, the title of the article, but there is no novelty. Right. So this is the important thing, that whenever you will select one research topic, that you have to keep in your mind, that novelty component must be there. So you have to address a research gap or a new idea which is relatively new in our setting or in your settings. Might be that it has been discussed in the Western world or in some other parts of the country, but it is not so well versed in our setting, in our country. Again, you know, the disease, it is caused by agent, host, and environment. Agent factor and environment factor, it differs from region to region. It might differ from region to region. So novelty, that you have to address it in your research proposal. Second, very important thing is the methodological rigor. In spite of the fact that you have addressed one novel thing, but methodologically your article or article, it is not so robust. So again, there is a flaws. So whatever methodology we should write, we should adhere the exact thing that is to be written under methodology section. I will detail it later on, so that it must be replicable and it is having all the robust procedures, so that nobody will be able to raise a question against your methodology. Next one is the clear significance. That is, it is giving some theoretical or practical contribution that is not so well known before. So what is practical contribution? Now, suppose, for example, they are telling, yes, in that way, if you handle the situation after the patient is coming from the operation table, whenever the patient is shifted to a hospital bed. So these are the things that we used to do earlier. But nowadays, somebody is telling, okay, instead of doing this thing, you do in that way. So that has some practical contribution. Might be that it will reduce the hospital acquired infection, nosocomial infection, right? So these are some of the things. So it should have some clear significance in terms of clinical impact. Cohesive structure, that is also very important. Many times we see that whenever we review some journals, we see a title is written in one way, the objective is also written, and the methodology is also written, and the result is also written. But unfortunately, all the four components, they are not aligned with each other. Title is telling something else. Objective is telling something else. Methodology, I did not pinpoint the exact one what I have stated in the objective. And again, results. The most problematic area is the conclusion. One communication from the journal that the conclusion what we have written, it has not come from my study findings. So that I'm telling that it should be done, it should be addressed. But unfortunately, that part I have not addressed, I have not seen in my study. So in that way also, that is also very important point. Last but not the least is the ethical integrity. So proper citation and transparency of the research thing. So I will come later on in my presentation. So these are some of the characteristics of the publishable research. So if you adhere all these 5 components, I think we will be able to go for publishing happily and more confidently. Next, what would be the anatomy of the research paper? So whenever if you open a research paper from a journal, you will see these are some of the components. First one, there is the title of the manuscript, the research paper. After the title, you will see the name of the authors that is there. After that, there is one abstract or one summary is there. After summary, there is some keywords are written. After keywords, the main text has started. And at the end of the main text, you will see the another section that is known as the references. Right. Now I'm coming to one by one. Whenever we write the title, please remember we should keep in our mind, we should try to address all these components in the title. That is, we should mention study design, place of the study, study population, research topic. If it is an intervention study, then you have to state the intervention. Some people, they call it as a spiced model. A stands for the study setting, P stands for the study population, I stands for the intervention, C stands for the comparator, E stands for the endpoint, that is the outcome, and D is for the duration or something like this thing. So please remember, these are the components that we have to address when we should write the title as well. So design, place of study, study population, research topic, and had it been experimental study, then you have to write the intervention, you have to write the comparator, and you have to write down the end point, that is the final outcome of the study. So you see, I've given one of the title. So this is a title: longitudinal study of men with mild symptoms of bladder outlet obstruction treated with watchful waiting for the 4 years. If you now study with my heading, study design, it is written. It is a longitudinal study. Place of study, it is not written. So better you should write the place of study in your title as well. Study population, it is clearly written that men with mild bladder outlet obstruction. That is also written. Research topic is also written, that is the bladder outlet obstruction. And the intervention part is also written, that is the watchful waiting, that is the conservative treatment. They did not went for any surgical intervention. Right. So again, the title, whenever you should write the title in an article or in a manuscript, it should be concise and informative. It should be brief, specific. It should not be too big, not to be too small. It should be crispy. Better to avoid uncommon abbreviations and formula in the title. So you cannot write the CBME. You write competency-based medical education. But some of the title like HIV/AIDS, these are so common. So in those that abbreviated form you can write, but you cannot write the abbreviated form that are not so common to the general population. Now, acronym in the title, you see performance assessment of JPHN in the maternal and child health service in district of Kerala, India. So JPHN, the full form is not known to many of us. So better to write performance assessment of junior public health nurse in maternal and child health service in district, like this thing. Again, somebody say there are different types of title, declarative title, informative title, like this thing. So some authority says that please avoid declarative title. That is title stating the hypothesis. Here you see we are writing VSD, ventricular septal defect, is the most common acyanotic heart disease in a children. So we better not to write this type of title, because suppose I have done this study in a particular hospital or in a particular region where VSD is the most common cause of acyanotic heart disease. But that does not mean throughout the country, throughout the world, VSD is the most common cause of acyanotic heart disease in the children, isn't it? So better you can write prevalence of VSD in children with acyanotic heart disease in a in a district of dash dash, in a state of dash dash, like this thing. Clear? So better not to go for the declarative title. Again, some of the title have written incidence of diabetic neuropathy among diabetes patients attending tertiary care hospital. You see, this is one of the very common mistake. That is why I have copied the title from one of the review that I did. The term incidence and prevalence. Please remember, the term incidence and prevalence are not appropriate in hospital-based study. Please remember, because if you go through the definition of incidence and prevalence, you will see the numerator denominator is something else. In incidence, the denominator, for the prevalence, the denominator of hospital does not satisfy the definition of incidence and the prevalence. So we should not comment on incidence and prevalence of any study that we have conducted from a hospital setting. Incidence means you have to follow it up, isn't it? Otherwise, how will you identify the new cases? So population at risk not defined, not a follow-up period. One time study is done, now the people has written incident. So this is the things. Another title I am telling you, this is also one of the titles that I have come across while reviewing one article. Prevalence of multivariable logistic regression in Indian Medical Journal. So the authors, they have gone through some of the journals, and from there they have they have they have they tried to find it out how how many how many articles they have conducted multivariable logistic regression. So in that way they wrote prevalence of multivariable logistic regression. Now what we raise the question, suppose some of the articles where the objective was not there, that is why the author did not go for multivariable logistic regression, but that article was counted in the denominator. So say for example, in a lucid language, I have examined 10 articles. Out of 10 articles, 5 articles, they did not use multivariable logistic because they are that was not their intention. That was not their objective. So straightforward, the 5 articles, they did not do any multivariable logistic. Out of rest of the 5, 3 articles they did the multivariable. 2 articles did not do the multivariable. So it can be 3 by 2, but the authors are calculating 3 by 10. So that was the problem, isn't it? So this is the thing that we wrote, better to avoid the term prevalence. Many descriptive articles might not have the scope for application of the multivariable logistic regression. Some studies might be having some other objective which did not satisfy multivariable logistic. So we should not write the term prevalence. Better you can write the proportion of multivariable logistic regression in in some of the articles where multivariable logistic regression was possible. Clear? So these are the things that you have to remember. Now I'm coming to the next part, that is the abstract or the summary part. Usually the journal, they tell that out of 250 words or 300 words, you mention the abstract or the summary. Again, it might be structured abstract or it might be unstructured abstract. There is no difference between the structured and unstructured, basic things being the same. In structured, some headings are there, but in unstructured, that heading is not mentioned, but the concept you have to mention it. So like background is written, objective is written, methods is written, results is written, and conclusion is written. But in unstructured, these headings will be absent, but the same thing will be mentioned in the abstract. So whenever you will submit abstract or summary, you have to go to the journal, because it varies from the journal to journal. This is an example of structured abstract. You see background, methods, results, conclusion. The headings are there. And this is an example of an unstructured abstract. You see, the same things are written, background, objective, method, but the headings are not mentioned. But the entire thing is written. This is known as the unstructured abstract. So whenever you will submit the article to a journal, you have to go through the journal whether to go for the structured or unstructured abstract. Now, if you open the journal, you will see the title, then you will see the name of the authors, then you will see the affiliation of the authors, then you will find out the abstract. Now my question is, when to write an abstract? In the beginning or preparation of a manuscript, or at the end after preparation of the manuscript, after completion of the manuscript? From the journal, it seems that it is to be written earlier, but please remember, abstract is always written at the end of the manuscript. When you have completely written the manuscript, now you are collecting some of the information from background, methods, results, and conclusion to put it in an abstract. So at the end, after you have written the manuscript, then you should write down the abstract or the summary. References are not cited in the abstract, that you know. Next is the keywords. Very important things. Short phrases or words that are relevant and cover all the aspects of the study. So these are known as the keywords. Generally, 3 to 5 keywords are given for indexing in the article. Some journals, they ask for the mesh words. They ask some keywords as a mesh word. But 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 in a truer sense, mesh words should not be given. It is not mandatory to give mesh words as a keywords. That is wrong. Some journals, they ask for mesh word, but then you can find it out the mesh word. So this is the journal side. You can go to PubMed and then you can scroll down to a mesh bar where you can find it out relevant mesh word, this thing. But correctly, we should not put any mesh word as a keyword. Keyword basically the main important phrases that the article depicts. So this is very important because you should try to keep keywords as such terms or words that are written either in the title or in the abstract. So this is the common tips that you should remember. So what words as to put as the keywords? The words or terms that you have mentioned in the title, or you have mentioned repeatedly or sometimes in the abstract, those words to be taken as a keywords, right? Because it is very important. There is one term, this is known as the ACO. ACO means for search engine optimization. Suppose someone is also trying to write a similar article. So whenever he will search in Google, the search engine operation will tag your article. So your chance of citation will be increased. So in that way, the keywords is most important. So you have to choose keywords from your title and from your abstract as well. Now coming to the main text of the manuscript, it is said to be IMRAT format. I stands for introduction, M stands for methodology, RA stands for results and analysis, and the last one, D, it stands for the discussion. What is introduction? I think all of you know. Background information needed to understand the study and the rationale. Why are you conducting this particular study? That you have to mention in brief, and also the rationale why you have taken this particular topic. Next one, what question or problem was studied? What question or problem that you studied in your in your in your manuscript? Now you have to give some background information. This is the burden, this is the thing. Now in our country that is not known, and from our setting that is also not known. So in that way, now slowly you have to come down, you have to focus the narrow, and the information becomes more specific. Clear? Suppose you are telling the hypertension burden. Hypertension is one of the most common non-communicable disease. It is gradually increasing throughout the globe. Now there is good therapeutic regime for hypertension. But in spite of this, so many people in our country, they are not getting adequate treatment. So in our study, we wanted to find out what is the proportion of the people, hypertensive people, that they are not hypertensive, and why they are not taking the adequate treatment. Right. So in that way, you have to give the background and what question you want to study in your research, and slowly you focus the problem. Clear? When writing the introduction section, the introduction section must be well balanced. You have to keep both positive points and negative points in the introduction. Some people, they only keep positive things. It is not good. Again, whatever references you should give, whatever citation you will give to justify your research gap, that research gap exists. So you are giving some references now. So that references should be very much current. It should not be too old. Preferably, it is within the last 10 years. If you write one references that is around 1980, and from that references you are telling that so many issues of hypertension are still not known. So I think all of you can understand that it is not justified. So the references, what you are putting it to pinpoint your research gap, it should be current references. It should not be more than 10 years. Preferably should be much recent references, 5 years or like something like this thing. And again, in that way, you have to prepare the relevant research question in the introduction. So please remember, so in that way, you have to write down the introduction. So gradually from the big topic, you have to narrow down and come to your research question. So you have to justify your research question like this thing. So the introduction section is classically compared with just like a funnel. You see that it starts with a big base and gradually it is narrowing down. Now, at the end of the objective, in the last paragraph of the introduction section, we mention the objectives. So whenever we write down the objective, it should be SMART objective. What is the full form of SMART? I think all of you know. It should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Each and every term is most important. It cannot be vague. It should be measurable. I cannot say something I will think, but that is not measurable at all. Then how can you justify at the end of the study that I have achieved that objective or not? It should be attainable, it should be realistic, and it should be time bound. Suppose I'm doing one thesis. My data collection period is 1 year. Now the topic I have chosen, that is very ideal, that is very novel, but the result it is not expected to get within the next 2 years. Then how can I select this research topic as my thesis? So it should be time bound as well. So the objective is written with an action verb, that is to find out, to access, to determine. So please, whenever you will see the objective, you will see it is written in that way: to find out the prevalence of hypertension, to assess the factors that are responsible for non-adherence of the medicine, to determine how many people were overweight, like this. So these are known as the action verb. Why I'm telling you action verb? Because action verb is also very important. Sometimes you will see so many people, they write the action verb like this thing: to study, to know, to understand, to appreciate. please remember, generally these are not to be written as action verb. These are stated as bad action verb. These are said to be a good action verb. To find out, to determine, to identify, to estimate, to assess. Have you got my point? So these are the things that you have to remember. But again, this is a very gross type of thing. Sometimes we also prefer to understand in case of qualitative study. What this slide, what I mean to say that this action verb are classically used, good action verb are used for the quantitative study. Had it been qualitative study, sometimes we write to understand or to illustrate like this thing, right? So there is one scientist, that is, his name is Benjamin Bloom. You can write it down. That is known as Bloom's taxonomy. If you go through the Google, if you write Bloom's taxonomy, it specifies what action verbs to be written for which type of study. So better you consult those action verbs when you are writing one quantitative study or any qualitative study. Again, in quantitative study, there might be different types of quantitative studies. In qualitative studies, again, there might be different types of qualitative studies. So accordingly, the Benjamin Bloom, he has given the list. From that list, you can select on your own which action verb to write in and in your objective. Say, for example, another example, a cross-sectional study on metabolic syndrome among workers in an industrial area of Howrah district, West Bengal. Suppose I've written like this thing. This is the general objective, to find out the prevalence of metabolic syndrome among workers of Paltikuri industrial area of Howrah district of West Bengal. Now, specific objective I have written to determine the demographic, socioeconomic, and behavioral characteristics of the workers of the Paltikuri industrial block, to find out the prevalence of metabolic syndrome, to assess the association of metabolic syndrome, if any, with demographic, socio-demographic variables, right? So please remember, again, whenever you will write down the objective, you see, I have mentioned the action verb, to determine, to find out, to assess. Since this is a quantitative study. Again, another thing you have to remember, whenever you will write down the objective should come in a chronological order. Here you see, I have first written the background socio-demographic. Second, I have written the topic, to find out the prevalence of metabolic syndrome. And third one I have written, to find out the association of metabolic syndrome with some socio-demographic characteristics. Have you understood? So it has to be also written chronologically, one by one. Next is the materials and methodology section. So that part I have covered, the in-grad portion, I part that I have covered, that is the introduction section I have completed. At the end of the introduction section, you have to write the research question, and at the end, you have to write down the objective. The objective should be smart and it should be the appropriate action verb. Next comes the materials and methodology section. This section provides the reader with all the details. You have to give subheadings to separate different methodologies. Describe what you did in the past tense. Please remember, whenever you are writing, you are submitting the manuscript, or when you are submitting the dissertation or thesis, it is already done. So it has to be written in the past tense. One of the common mistake what we have seen during the proposal submission, everything in the methodology is written in the future tense. But some students, they just forgot to change the future tense to past tense in the final thesis or dissertation or in the manuscript. So this is a very serious problem. The reviewer who will review your article or your thesis, he or she will think that you are very casual and you are not very serious with your thesis. So that will create a negative impression on your thesis. So please remember, in materials and methodology, whenever you are submitting the full report or the manuscript, it has to be written in the past tense. Describe new methods in enough detail that another researcher can reproduce your experiment. The whole essence of the methodology section is that whatever you are mentioning, one researcher from another part of the world, from another part of the country, he or she will be in the same position to replicate your work the way you have mentioned. So if you mention that the way you have measured the weight, you have measured the height to calculate the BMI, you don't have to give enough details because it is the standard operative procedure is known to everybody. You write that weight, height, and BMI was measured according to standard operative procedure, and you give some references. But if you have used any method to find out the body fat or or water content of the body with some new methods, that method has to be detailed, enough detailed with references so that another researcher can reproduce your experiment. So describe established methods briefly that I have already told you. You cite the references where reader find more details. Again, state parameters, definition, all statistical tests, software version that you will use in the thesis. So operational definition is very important. What are the statistical tests you have used in that, and why you have used those statistical tests, that you have to mention. Suppose you have used some parametric statistical test, you have to mention because the data set were normally distributed, the continuous data set were normally distributed. That is why you conducted parametric test. Or the continuous data set where skewed distribution or contained an outlier. That is why instead of parametric, you utilize the non-parametric statistical test. Or if you are having categorical data, straightforward, you have utilized the non-parametric statistical test. So these are the reasoning, the name of the statistical test that you have to mention, and the basic reasoning behind using the test. So if you mention all these things, your methodology section, statistical analysis section automatically will be more refined and it is more clarified. So which software you have used, SPSS software or R software or AP Info software, and give the name, the version of the software. Again, see instruction for the authors of the target journal, and accordingly you prepare your methodology section. Some journals, they prefer the different headings of methodology, and some journals they do not prefer. They prefer that yes, according to the heading you should write what is to be mentioned, but you don't mention the heading. So it depends upon the journal. So look at the previously published paper in the journal. So if you're not very satisfied, not very confident after going to the instruction for the authors, you go to the latest articles that was published in the journal. From there also you can have an idea how the authors they have written the published article. So from here also you will get the points. So these are grossly the methods that should be mentioned in the materials and methodology section. If you mention out of IMRAD portion, which section is the most important and most important, I would say it is the materials and methodology section. So whatever it might be so novel, it might be so interesting, but if the methods are not written very adequately or robustly, your study is not going to be published, it's not going to be accepted. So materials and methods is basically is the heart of an research manuscript. So which type of study type you have used, cross-sectional study or experimental study like this thing, or observational study, then what study design you have used. If there is descriptive study, then is it a cross-sectional design one time, or it is a longitudinal design, repeated measure like this thing. What is the study area where the study was conducted? Even again, you give a brief introduction of the study. Suppose the study area was conducted in XYZ Medical College. So you give a big background of the XYZ Medical College. It was situated in the southern corner of the Andhra Pradesh, and it caters a population of this much, is a catchment area of this much, like this thing. There are this much of beds, and this many is the hospital bed strength, like this thing, so that the reader, the reviewer who might not be well accustomed with your study area, he or she will get the confidence. Okay, the research where the research was conducted is a very pretty old, and it's a very good strength of the hospital strength. So study settings, again some people they confuse with the study area and study settings. Study area is basically a gross thing. Study area, suppose the study will be conducted in a medical college, or study setting, it is the actual department where actually the study is going on. Suppose the study will be conducted in the in the nursing department of XYZ Nursing Medical College. So we know from which department the study is leading. So that department you have to mention in the study settings. Next is the study period, from where to which period the study was conducted or will be conducted. Study population means upon whom the study was conducted. The study was conducted among the antenatal women who visited the hospital during the in the pregnancy clinic. Something like this thing. Very important thing is the sample size and sampling technique. It is very, very important. Sometimes some people, they write very casually 50 people or 500 people or 6,000 people were included in the study. What is the justification of 550 or 500 or 6,000? So you have to justify with this thing. How how this figure has come out. Again, I'm telling you, this is known as the sample size. What is the most important thing? There are different types of study, cross-sectional study, case control study, cohort study, RCT, NRCT. For different types of study designs, there are different types of study formulas, and there are different types of assumptions are there. So whatever study you will be conducting, you just go through the assumptions, and you just use that particular formula only just to calculate the sample size. Clear? So sample size, it will be dependent on which type of study you are doing and what are the assumptions that you are making. So accordingly, you give the sample size and you give the references. Yes, these are the reasons why we have chosen 150 people like this thing. Again, very important thing is the sampling technique. Broadly, there are two types of sampling technique. One is probability sampling technique. One is non-probability sampling technique. Probability sampling technique is usually said to be superior because it obeys the laws of probability, like simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stagic and multiphasic sampling. These are some of the sampling techniques that are being used for the quantitative study design and for the quality, and this is for probability sampling technique. And there are some other non-probability sampling technique like convenience sampling, like judgmental sampling, like snowball sampling, like quota sampling. Again, one thing you remember, if you are conducting quantitative study, you should better go for the probability sampling technique. But if you go for the qualitative study, for quantitative study, you go for the probability sampling technique. But for qualitative study, we usually go for the non-probability sampling technique. So if some researcher, they are doing a mixed method study means where both qualitative component is there and quantitative component is there. For quantitative component, you go for the probability sampling technique. For qualitative component, you go for the non-probability sampling technique. Most commonly for qualitative sampling technique, we use convenience sampling, we use judgmental sampling, we use snowball sampling, we use the quota sampling. Clear? So these are the different the terms that you have to remember. Next most important thing is the selection criteria. That is the inclusion and the exclusion criteria. On what basis you will include a participant, and on what basis you should exclude the criteria. Please remember one golden word: exclusion criteria is not the reverse of inclusion criteria. Please remember. Sometimes we see that some people has written that we will include the smokers. Then who is the exclusion criteria? Those who are not smokers. It cannot be like this thing. It cannot be like this thing. My screen is not moving. No, I'm not moving the screen. I'm just
Yes.
explaining one by one. I'm explaining one by one from the point, then I will move the screen. Yes, you have to explain the sampling technique in your methodology section. Had it been quantitative study, which probability sampling technique and why? Had it been qualitative study, which non-probability sampling technique and why? That you have to mention. Everything that is what I'm telling you. So please remember, exclusion criteria is not the reverse of inclusion criteria. Say for example, I'm telling you some adolescents group will be included, 10 to 19 years. Exclusion criteria cannot be adult, cannot be elder. No, you have to write the adolescents which adolescents will be excluded from your study? Suppose the adolescents 10 to 19 years who are very ill, who will not give consent. Those people will be excluded from the study. So please remember, this is one of the common mistake. Inclusion is not the vice versa of the exclusion criteria. Next is the study tools and technique. What is study tools means? The instrument that are being used, the questionnaire we use, the weighing machine we use, the blood pressure sphygmomanometer, the stethoscope, or something, weight chart like this thing. So these will be included in the study tools. And what is the study technique? Study technique means the way we should collect the data. Suppose we are talking to individual, or we are measuring with tape, or we are collecting some blood samples. So these are known as a technique. So one-to-one interview technique, or assessment, or drawing of blood, or checking past medical history. These will be written as the study techniques. Next important point is the study variables. You know, what are the different points that we take in the study? These are known as the study variables, like age, gender, religion, occupation, socioeconomic status, and the dietary history, sedentary pattern, whether lifestyle history, whether smoker or non-smoker. So these are the things that are known as the variables. So according to research topic, you have to select the different variables. Ethical approval, all the studies you have to you have to check for the ethical approval from your institutional ethics committee. Otherwise, it is not justified to go for a study. Study plan, data collection procedure, how you will collect the data, operational definition. Suppose you are doing a study on hypertension. Whom will you call as hypertension? Then that you have to mention in your operational definition. The person whose blood pressure will be SB, systolic blood pressure 140 or more, and or diastolic blood pressure 90 or more, according to JNC 7 criteria. That person will be termed as operational as hypertensive. Say for example, you have measured one blood pressure. The blood pressure is 120 by 80. But the person is taking one tablet that is known as amlodipine, antihypertensive tablet. Then also that person will be also be considered as hypertension, because his blood pressure is low because he is taking antihypertensive drug. So that also you have to mention. So what is the operational definition of hypertension? So any person who is having HBP 140 or more, and or DBP 90 or more, or any person who is taking any type of antihypertensive medication, they will be termed as a hypertensive in the study. So these are the things that you have to remember. Next is the statistical analysis. Again, I told you once. So which type of study, which type of analysis, parametric statistical test or non-parametric statistical test, that you have to mention with justification. So in the results, next is the results and analysis section. State what you have found, but do not interpret. So you just only write down a proportion of hypertension was more among males compared to females, but do not interpret it. Why it was more in adults, more in males? That you don't have to interpret in the results section. That is to be done in the discussion section. So subheadings to separate the results. Sometimes some people we we make different paragraphs for different objectives, like this thing that you will understand. So it should be logical order. Past tense to describe your results. So again, the results analysis, it is written in the past tense. However, whenever you are referring some figures or tables, it has to be written in the present tense. Table 3 shows that. Figure 5 shows that. So whenever you are referring figures or tables, you can write it down in the present tense. Another important thing, do not duplicate data among figures, tables, and text. A common mistake is to restate much of the data from a table. So this is known as the redundant section. So I have given one table, the same thing I have put it in the figure, the same thing I have detailed in the results section as a running text. So better not to do this thing. Anything you write and you just that is why there is option of figure, table, and text, so that you can use your minimum wording, minimum options to make reviewer understand. Results of statistical analysis in the text along with p-value. Sometimes we see that some researchers, they have done the statistical test, but they have only mentioned the p-value. They did not mention the test statistics. So test statistics is to be mentioned along with the p-value. Avoid including redundant figure and table that I've told you to showing the same thing in a different format. Now, regarding presentation of data, when we are having qualitative data, I think all of you know qualitative data is a classical example is a gender. Classical example is a religion. Classical example, where do we reside? Suppose I'm telling you in today's session, whoever uh, are attending the session, if I want to classify them, how many of you have come from rural area? How many of you have come from urban area? How many of you have come from the semi-urban area? Then how to present? It is to be presented by number and percentage. There is no option. So when we are having qualitative data, the only option is number and percentage. How many participants are male? How many participants are female? Simple answer, number and percentage. But if we are having quantitative data, then the problem arises. At first, we have to see whether the data is normally distributed or not. Now, say for example, I am asking you my next question. What is the distribution of the weight, body weight of the participants, those who are attending today's session? Then you cannot write it what I showed you earlier, number and percentage. How to represent? Then I have to see, I have to measure weight of all the participants. Then I have to see whether the weight is distributed normally or not. It might be normal distribution or it might be skewed distribution. Had it been normal distribution, I have to go for the mean and standard deviation. If the distribution is not normal, if it is skewed, then mean and standard deviation should not be used. We should use median and interquartile range. The same thing is being true when it is containing an outlier. So in presence of skewed distribution or in presence of outlier, the option is median and interquartile range. In those situations, you should not calculate mean and standard deviation. In spite of this, if mistakenly, if you calculate mean and standard deviation, then you will see sometimes the standard deviation value is very coming close to the mean value. That is the one indication. From that value, we can understand that the distribution is not normal, but the authors, they have given the wrong thing. Clear? So this is the thing that you have to remember. Same thing. Test of significance, I've told you there are some parametric tests, statistical tests, there are some non-parametric statistical tests. Parametric statistical tests only for the continuous or quantitative data when data distributed normally. The most important thing, when we go for the non-parametric test, it is for the qualitative data, what I told you, number and percentage, and also for the quantitative data, when data distributed is not normally, it is skewed distribution. So this is in a nutshell where we should go for the parametric statistical test and non-parametric statistical test. Now the last section is the discussion, objective wise or most least important that you have to discuss. Very important thing, what I told you earlier in result section, we should not interpret, we should write what we have got it. But in the discussion section, now you have the liberty why the proportion of hypertension was more among male compared to male. That you can discuss here with your justification, with your reasoning, and with the evidence of the present literature. So compare your results with similar studies. Whether your results is agree or disagree with the present literature, that you have to say, and with your reason that you have to tell. In the discussion section, you have to write down the limitation of the study. Again, you have to write the strength of your study as well. What your results may mean, how your results extend the findings of the previous studies, that you have to mention. Right. So if your findings are very preliminary, then suggest future studies. So discussion section is very important. And at the end of the discussion, state your main conclusion once again. So that is why we conclude. Please remember one thing in your mind: the title, the objective, the methodology, results, and the discussion. Everything will be aligned with each other. This is the most important thing. Once you have completed writing of your article manuscript, then very impartially you have to see, or you can tell one of your friends, just go through one and give your critical comments. Clear? So this is the thing, that the discussion section. So the discussion is structured in the opposite way, narrow to broad. What I told you in the introduction section, we started with broad and gradually calm down. But here is discussion section is just the opposite. It's just the opposite. It is just like an inverted funnel shape. So what are the findings, what you have got, and then you are gradually broadening out. So yes, this is the situation. This is the reason why the people are not taking any antihypertensive medicine like this thing or not. Clear? Now conclusion and recommendation in the discussion section. It is the gist of the research work, principal findings, significance. I'm not going into details. So I've already told you conclusion and recommendation. Acknowledgement section, very important. Who do not meet the criteria of authorship in your manuscript, who provided technical help, writing assistance or general support, or financial or material support should also be acknowledged. Because these are the things, they will not satisfy the authorship criteria. I will tell you later on. Now the most important thing, what to write, references or bibliography. Please remember, this is how we write down the reference. This is the name of the author. I'm not going into detail, otherwise I will not be able to complete within a stipulated time period. So name of the authors, title of the article, name of the journal, volume number, issue number, and the page number. This is how we write down the Vancouver style. Vancouver style is the one of the most common thing. So in the article, we usually go for the references, right? References. And in bibliography, basically it is written in the books, where we do not link the specific articles from where I have written a statement. So references you have to write. So how to write an online material, I'm not going into details. How to write from a book. So there are some different formats out there. So writing of an article, writing of a book, writing of an online material. So these are some different techniques nowadays. Most of you might be using some software like Mendeley or Jotero. So they will take care of these things. So you don't have to be worried for this thing. They will do it this thing. So in a manuscript or in an article, how many tables or figures? There is a famous saying in English, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So make good use of figures and tables in your manuscript. In some of our Indian journals, they have make it very rigid that you cannot submit more than four figures and tables combined. So you can give either 3 tables, 1 figure, or 2 tables, 2 figures, or 1 table, 2 figures, like this thing. What should be the length and breadth? Okay, ma'am, you just write down your question so we can discuss it at the end. So make good use of your figures and tables in the manuscript. This is of the table. Sometimes some components are missed: table number, title of the table, caption, stop heading, stop head, stop. This is known as stop heading. This is stop head. Sources, footnote. So please remember, whenever you are doing number and percentage, better you give a single digit after decimal. So whenever you are distributing some percent, so single digit after decimal. So you have to mention the unit that I mentioned, age in years, number and percentages that you have to mention, class interval, very important. We usually keep uniform class interval, but sometimes the uniform class interval might not be appropriate in some demographic situations. But otherwise, we should keep the equal class interval. Another common mistake, sometimes if you add on the row percentage or column percentage, you will see the percentage is not coming 100%. Either it is coming 99.9 or 100.1%. So this is also a discredit from our part. So whatever statistics we will use, the p-value, you have to write it in the table. So this is how I've now just finished the anatomy of a manuscript. In a title, I have told you title, I have told you abstract, I have told you structured abstract, unstructured abstract, I have told you keywords, I have told you manuscript in the form of IMRAT, introduction, materials, methods, results and analysis, and the discussion section. So small break in terms of, I will ask you some of the question. So where I have discussed about the SPICE format, anyone? Anyone? Then it will be interesting.
So
Where did
participant, you can unmute at your end.
I?
Please reply.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, exactly correct. So spiced, I mentioned in whenever you will make the title of an manuscript, you should keep the spiced format. Very good. Next one. Where I have talked about smart.
In objective.
Very good.
Objectives.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Next one, where I've talked about funnel shaped.
Introduction.
Very good. Very good. Introduction. I did not talk about Gantt chart, did I?
No.
No, very good. So Gantt chart is basically used in the methodology section whenever we talk about the study duration, study duration. So Gantt chart is very important. It is basically a work scheduling. So in the first year, in the this month I will do this thing. In the second year I will do this thing. In the third year I will do this thing. So this is known as the Gantt chart. This is for the work scheduling. Which work of, suppose my project is on 2 years or 3 years. So how the 3 years are divided in my work. So this is basically shown in a Gantt chart. Did I discuss about SEO?
Yes.
Where?
Search engine operation for in keywords.
Very good. Search engine optimization. So I talked it about when I was discussing about the keywords. Thank you. Now, some of the terms. What is the full form of mesh?
Medical
Medical
subject headlines.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Headings. Medical subject headings.
What is the answer? What is the answer?
Materials and methods.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Good. What is the answer?
Methods. Which one of the following section refers to what it means? What it means. Introduction.
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 Introduction. Discussion.
Introduction basically why I did the study.
Why?
There you have to mention the research
Discussion.
gap, the part, and isn't it? So what it means basically. So it is basically come in the discussion section. So what to do, what it means. What is the answer?
Of the following section. Why I did this.
Introduction.
Why?
Why I did.
Introduction.
Understood. Very good. So this is the introduction. Is it clear to all of you? That I did not talk about. Now can you tell me? I did not tell this thing.
Digital object identifier.
Object
Very good.
identifier.
Very good. It is just like an Aadhaar number of an individual article. Very good.
What is ODI? What number does ODI start with? DI 10. 10.
Huh? 10.
12.
Good, good. Good, very good. It is 10. Starts with 10. Good, very good. Always. Good. Good, good. So now I'm coming to the next part. So publication integrity, this thing, and what is the heading? Publication ethics and research integrity, right? So there one problem is the authorship guideline. So many people, so many of your friends, you have drafted the article. Now whom to give the authorship? So there is one guideline that is known as ICMG guideline, International Committee of Medical Journal Editor. If you go through the guideline to the Google, then you will see they have specifically mentioned which type of activity you can give authorship. If someone doesn't match with the authorship criteria, then you can name him or her in the acknowledgement section. Nowadays, some Elsevier journal and big journals, they are also mentioning the
Please continue, sir.
okay. So now some good journal, now Elsevier journal, they have now introduced the credit guideline. Credit means contributor roles taxonomy. So you have to mention the authors and you have to mention again each author who did this thing, conceptualization, data curation, writing, supervision, etc. etc. So that you have to credit. Order of authorship is very important. The author who worked most, he will be given as first author, and accordingly the authorship will be done. Usually the head of the department or the guide who initiated the study or who guided the study, he or she should be kept as a last author. Last author is also very prestigious because he or she has guided the project. Now, some of the authorship, now some of the terms, I think all of you are aware of these things. One of them is known as the gift author, ghost author, and guest author. Are you aware of these terms?
Yes, sir.
Should I explain, or I'm just telling you some words?
Yes, please. We have not heard.
Okay. Gift author means I am one person, he or she is not eligible for the authorship, but I am gifting him or her the authorship. Beside my name, I am writing the name of my head of the department. He did not contribute in my work, but why I am giving the name? Because he will do some favor later on. So that is why I am gifting something in the intention so that one day he or she will also give me something like this thing. So this is known as gift author. Clear? It should not be like this thing. What is ghost author? Ghost means one author is there who is very sound, who is very strong, but his name is absent in the authorship list. Basically, this type of author, they basically take money from the people. Suppose I am a very good writer, I am very confident of writing. So if I write, I know that my article. So I'm taking some money from one people. I'm writing, but my name is not written as an author. So I am a ghost author. Another terminology is there. This is known as the guest author. What is guest author? I've kept the name of my director because he's a very heavyweight person, very high-fi person. So I'm thinking if I keep my boss's name, my chance of publication will be increased. This is known as guest author. But he did not contribute. And he might not be knowing that I have put his or her name in my article. So this is the different terminologies of gift author, ghost author, and the guest author. I think it is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, another important term is the plagiarism. Plagiarism, you know, it has come from a Latin word. The meaning of the plagiarism is kidnapping. All of us are quite familiar with the term kidnapping. So
Yes,
I'm
sir.
present. Yeah, good. I'm presenting another's original thoughts or ideas as your own, using another's exact words without proper citation. So nowadays, plagiarism is a very big issue. All of us will be very much cautious. If plagiarism is detected at the time of submission or after the time of submission, then your article might be retracted. It might be scraped out from the journal. So this is very important. So how to take care of the plagiarism? Acknowledge the work of the others. So from where you have taken the knowledge, you should acknowledge that particular article or the particular author in the terms of citation or references. Also, some common scientific knowledge also better to acknowledge. What is common scientific knowledge? That tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It is known by all. Cholera is caused by Vibrio cholerae. It is known to everybody. Some people, they say that you might not to give reference, but some people say you can give references as well. But apart from this, whatever ideas or techniques you have learned from other articles, you have to acknowledge the name of the authors. Next, whenever you are copying them from one article, at that time better you change the writing pattern. This is known as paraphrase or rephrase or summarize in your own words. And after that, again, you cite the references. That is a very good practice. But sometimes if you are, suppose one definition, you cannot rephrase or paraphrase this thing. Entirely you are copying and pasting it. Then you give it in a quotation mark, within a quotation mark, and then you give the references. So these are the 3 common tips to avoid plagiarism. So acknowledge the work of others in terms of references, also common knowledge, you cite references. Whatever you have copied it from one article, you just paraphrase it or you summarize it in your own word or rephrase it, and then you give citation. And if you are unable to do any paraphrasing or rephrasing, you same you write, but within a quotation mark, and you give citations. So in that way, you can avoid the plagiarism. There are some software. So I would request you from your institution, if you can buy some software like Turnitin, Authenticate. These are very costly software, probably annual subscription needed, but I think it is a good one if you can buy one software, plagiarism software. So they will give you the thing. But nowadays another problem is there are so many people they are writing with AI tools. So nowadays the good plagiarism software, they will show you 15% of your work is plagiarized. They will show you this line, this line, this line, they're exactly copied from these references. And this portion, suppose 20%, this is written by AI. This is not written by human. Right. So I will suggest you to go for the software. So some softwares are there. Drillbit is also good, but most commonly Authenticate, Turnitin that we use, that is also very good. Ethical oversight. Any study, you know, institutional ethics committee clearance is mandatory. You have to prepare the participant information sheet in their own language. That I think everybody you know. Then it is to be done by the informed written consent. You know about verbal assent, written assent. If you're doing a study among child less than 7 years of old, just information is given. 7 to 12 years of old child, verbal assent is needed. 13 to 18 years old child, written assent is written. Plus parental informed written consent is needed. Privacy and confidentiality, very important. Privacy means whenever I'm asking the participant, it is in the private room. So nobody will hear. So in that way, the privacy of the participant is maintained. And what is confidentiality? After the data I have collected from the participant, I have stored it in a good way so that nobody will come to know about this thing. So this is privacy, and second one is the confidentiality. If you are doing any type of intervention in your study, after you have received the IC clearance from your institute, you apply to the CTRI registration. Clinical Trial Registry of India, that is maintained by Indian Council of Medical Research. You log in and you register it, and you have to upload your IC certificate. Right. Next, if you are doing any systematic review or scoping review, if systematic review, you registered it in the Prospero. If you are doing any scoping review, you registered in the OSF platform, Open Science Platform. So these are the Open Science Framework platform. So these are some of the technical issues of the ethical oversight. Peer review, I'm not going into details. So guidelines ensuring independent, fair, and confidential review. There are different types of peer review. I think all of you know open peer review. Everybody knows the reviewers knows the name of the author. The authors, they know the name of the reviewer. Yes, you have to, any type of experimental study, be it quasi or randomized control trial, it has to be registered in the CTRI. Otherwise, you won't be able to publish in any journal. That is the dictum. So single blind study, double blind study, triple blind study, etc., etc. I'm not going into details of the peer review. Non-randomized trial, it has to be registered. Sir, any type of intervention, had it been randomized, it has been non-randomized, it has been quasi-experimental, if any experiment you give, if any intervention you give, you have to go for the CTRI. Sometimes some people, they do observational studies. In spite of this, they also register in CTRI. But I'm not telling you to register observational studies in CTRI. But if you are giving any sorts of intervention, CTRI is must and mandatory. Retraction is a very, very unfortunate term where the one article, if we get something wrong, the article is withdrawn and there is one retraction watch. So data, these are some of the bad things that sometimes some people do. Data falsification. Researcher change the data that is obtained. Data fabrication. No data was collected. The researcher makes up cooking up the data. That is data fabrication. Harmful conflict of interest. So one funding agency has funded the project and we are reporting the project as a positive outcome. So this is known as the conflict of interest. So this type of things that should not be done. So I should request to all of you to go for the COPE. So if you have any issues or any query on like this thing, you can go for a COPE guideline, Committee on Publication Ethics. So they have published on the good publication practice. So COPE guideline. So better to follow COPE guideline. So this thing. So which journal to publish? You see, many of us are become the fall victim of the predatory journal. This is the, you see, in 2010, there are only 18 predatory journals, but now 2017, just 10 years back, you see the number has been jumped. So many predatory journals are there. Predatory journals are nothing but false journal or fake journal. So this is the man, Jeffrey Bell. He's a librarian of one of the USA University, Colorado Denver University. He first coined the term predatory journal. Right, so these are fake journal. So please remember, when to suspect a predatory journal. Title of the journal is overly generic, covering several subject areas. Journal editor, staff, invite through email, phone to submit paper. Grand words are claimed, journal website because the high impact factor journal, something like this thing. I'm not going into details, sir. These are some of the platforms where you can check whether a journal is predatory or not. So DOAJ, Directory of Open Access Journal, OSPA, COPE, and the Bell's list, right? So OSPA means Open Access Scholarly Publishers Association. INSP, International Network for Availability of Scientific Publications, Bell's list. So these are some of the places. I will give you the PDF of the presentation so that you can get it all these things. So these are some of the places that you can check this thing. So choosing a journal, that is also very important. I'm not going into details, otherwise I will not be able to finish it off. Responses from a journal, it can be rejection, it can be technical correction, it can be rejection, or it can be revision. So one of the component was there, the rejection of manuscript. So some of the common rejection of manuscript, one is said that mortuary level flaws. That means the research question was wrong, method was wrong, objective was wrong. Here nothing can be done, only bury and cremation of the research paper. Understood? So this is a very big level flaws that nobody can rescue. Second type of rejection is the ICU level flaws. Means will require CPR followed by major surgery. That means poorly written, poor presentation of data, poor statistics, improper reporting format. So here also you have the chance to rectify your manuscript, but it's a major revision. You have to have much work with a very good thing. So this is ICU level flaws. Third one is the OPD level flaws. That is minor surgery or medication. That introduction, there may be lack of focus. Rationale, I have not mentioned in the introduction. Method related, I have inadequately described the method section. Presentation of data, there is repetition of data. I have used false statistical test. conclusion beyond the result obtained. I told you earlier, bias in reporting literature, my references are inappropriate. So these are some minor level flaws that can be rectified with minimum effort. That is OPD level flaws. And last one is the Munchausen syndrome. Munchausen syndrome, you know, this is a classical psychiatric disease where there is a self-inflicted injuries. Failure to follow the journal's instruction for the authors. Uploading wrong file, incorrect author's credential, typographical or grammatical errors, inconsistencies between title, objective, methods, and result section. What I was telling to you from the very beginning of my presentation. These are all avoidable and preventable. But in spite of this, we failed from our side. So this is known as the Munchausen syndrome. So in that way, I have tried my best to tell you the different types of rejection. So one is the mortuary level flaws where nothing can be done. One is ICU level flaws. Third one is the OPD level flaws, and last one is the Munchausen syndrome, where references I have written wrong. You see, there one can say you could do this study in that way. Yes, methodology might be different, but references in writing references I have written wrong. This is entirely my fault. Nobody can rescue me. So this is Munchausen. So this is self-inflicted injuries, right? So sometimes some journal they give us the option for the revision of the article. So revised article file. Then we have to go for the revised article file and point-to-point response file. We have to give, so reply point-wise, accept inadequacies, make necessary changes as requested. If not possible to rectify challenges, then reasons for not being able to do so that you have to mention. This is one of the question template that I've given. The last section, introduction to reporting guideline. And you know, there are different types of study types. So it may be case report, it may be case series, it may be cross-sectional studies, it may be randomized control trial, it may be systematic review, meta-analysis, like this thing. So different guideline formats are there for different types of article. So if you are have some case report, you have to take care of the care guideline. If you are reporting any observational studies, you have to take care of the stroke guideline, right? So if you write down stroke guideline in the Google, they will show you. This is just a one type of page where they have mentioned that yes, it is yeah, I will give you the presentation. I told you. So stroke guidelines. So the title, it has to be written. The introduction section, this is to be written. Research gap, methodology, study design, study type, year, statistical analysis. In which page number you have mentioned, that is to be written there. So care guideline, stroke guideline, consort guideline, Moose guideline, Prisma guideline, that is for systematic review and meta-analysis, Quorum guideline, trained guideline, start guideline, correct guideline. Correct we commonly use for a qualitative study. So once we are doing one qualitative study, we use the correct guideline. Spirit, agree, cheers. You don't have to remember all these things. I also do not remember all these things. So whenever this type of studies are there, so you have to mention this thing. So last few slides, if I'm not boring you too much. So how many of you have ORCID ID? ORCID ID? Open researcher and contributor. Yes, please make your good, very good. So please make your ORCID ID, because some journals they will not allow you to submit article unless you have an ORCID ID. Thank you. So please, ORCID, it is must. So this is the ORCID ID. You see, this is a 12-digit number. Sorry, 16-digit number, right? So this is the ORCID ID that you have to mention. Please create one ID in your research gate. That is also very important, because if you do not get the full text articles through ResearchGate, if you write to the authors, they sometimes you get the article, because so many articles are also can be only available after paying also subscription. So this thing that you have to remember. So Google Scholar, how many of you have Google Scholar account? Very important. All of us, you have to, very good. Thank you. Because why it is important? because from Google Scholar you can see your H index, I-10 index like this thing. In CMR, they have made it mandatory what is your H index now, right? So H index, I-10 index, you can only see it when you have put articles in the Google Scholar. H index 13, H index 20 means 20 of your articles have at least cited for at least 20 times. And I-10 index 41 means 41 of your articles have been cited for at least 10 times. So these are the meaning of the indices. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So again, last request to all of you, you also create your PubMed account, right? So that all of your PubMed articles you can store it. Also non-PubMed articles also you can store it. So you log in your PubMed account, you create your PubMed account, there also you can showcase your this thing. So this is one of the very popular picture. Can you see the picture?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. The heading of the picture is like this thing. I try to publish my article in that way, but after so many revision,
it's easier. But the moment you're only by yourself, you're going to be with you. But it is still a hard thing, right? How do you make it simple? A very simple fundamental principle that we.
yeah. So my submitted my article, then so many reviewers have asked so many things. So after addressing all the queries, the manuscript come like this thing. So new analysis, the reviewer requested additional background. I've given clarification added here, expanded to address another concern, more detailed to respond to this point. So it becomes like this thing. So good, robust study fails to keep its prestige through poor writing. Again, very good writing cannot mask a poorly conducted study. That is why I prefer the term art and science of research. So thank you very much for your patience hearing for the last 1.5 hours. So I'll be happy if you have any questions or not. Just 2 to 3 months back, one of my in your TNAI news bulletin, one of my book review was published, I think, just 2 to 3 months back, no, 6 months back. So thank you. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, if I hope all queries answered during the session, but if any remains, please quickly discuss your query. Dr. Harleen Kaur from the organizing team asking which book, sir?
oh, which book? Okay, that is Essentials of Biostatistics and Research Methodology. Essentials of Biostatistics and Research Methodology. So if you have any questions, please tell me.
One query in the chat box, sir, from Dr. Bharti. What should be the length and breadth of each aspect in the manuscript of the article, as there will be limit to pages for that? Do we need to mention Gantt chart in manuscript of article?
No. I've told you at that time the Gantt chart is not mandatory in the manuscript, right? Gantt chart is not mandatory in the manuscript because if you give Gantt chart, then the you will not get this thing, right? So Gantt chart is not mandatory, and again I am telling you Gantt chart should be written for the proposal. For the thesis, yes, it should be written, but it is not given in the manuscript. Otherwise, you won't be able to manage. Manuscript, it should be much crispier, isn't it? It is much crispier. So there is no option of giving like this thing.
One query, can you please explain data? I think it's related. Yes. Can you please explain data availability statement? Why journal ask this?
Data availability statement is very important. Suppose some reviewers are not very confident that the analysis that I have done, whether I have done it correctly or not. So that is why they ask the Excel sheet. They ask the Excel sheet. So you have to give the Excel sheet. So in that way, yeah, they write it down. Yes, data availability statement. Yes, I have the data with me. So it can be make available to you with reasonable request. Or some journal they tell it, unless you upload your article, then it will not be published, right? So this is also there.
So I hope all queries answered. Thank you all for replying in the chat box and asking queries. How
Sir,
to approach? Yes. How to? Yes, please.
sir, in the manuscript, should we write like primary objective, secondary objective, aim?
No. Aim, so you should not write. Better you should write primary objective only. But if you want to do manuscript with primary objective, then you write the primary objective only. Then if you want to do separate manuscript with secondary, then you write the secondary objective in the second manuscript. But if you want to accommodate the two outcome in the same manuscript, then you can write it there as well. If it's a big manuscript and original article, big article, so there you can write it primary, secondary. There is no issue of that.
Thank you.
So thank you all. Thank you again. Now, thank you so much, sir, for such a enlightening, insightful, and practical session on the scheduled topic. We are really honored and thankful for your time and expertise sharing in this program and setting a wonderful and positive tone for the next sessions. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and expertise sharing with all of us. We really enjoyed the session.
Thank you all. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, all participants. Good night. Good night.
Good night, sir. So thank you all. Next information for the next session scheduled tomorrow at 5 p.m. on the topic literature review, research gap identification, and manuscript planning, that will be delivered by Dr. Suresh Kumar Sharma, clinical and nursing informatics specialist from CDEC, a scientific society for Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. So be on time. Always try to join 10 minutes earlier to avoid any technical issues. So thank you all. Have a great evening ahead. We again meet tomorrow at 5 p.m. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.
Yeah.